Life is 10% what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. Charles Swindoll.
Wow. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of
Positivity.
Good vibes by the spoonful. I am your co-host, Miss Mary Lou Ryan.
I'm your other co-host, Jacob Kahn.
What, is that too weird? Should I not say it like that?
I don't know. Do we start with yeah, sure. Either way.
Sure. I just said words.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's a podcast. You said words. That's a podcast.
I think we're doing splendidly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, first of all, thank you to everyone who joined us last week for our premiere episode. It's doing great, and I'm so glad that you all love it. We're now available on all the podcast platforms, pretty much, which is very exciting, as well, of course, as our live show on the Miss Mary Lou channel on YouTube.
Yeah. So you can watch these faces if you want on YouTube.
Are we going to do silly faces every time now?
I don't know.
That's pretty... I think it's pretty
It's not a
delightful.
written down segment, but it is a segment that has happened every time.
All right. Well, welcome to Good Vibes all the time, positive thoughts, things with us two Muppety humans, and we just adore doing this for you guys. So, Jacob, what kind of tea are you drinking today?
I have chai tea from Twinings chai tea.
Oh, right. I forgot that we did this.
Yeah.
I am also drinking chai tea, but today it's from Tazo Organic Chai. So we have two
Exactly.
different chais that we bought for a thing that we never used it for the show.
Well, we're using it for this show.
So what do you think of your chai?
My chai is very mellow. My chai is very cinnamony, and it's very smooth, and I love that. I'm not a fan of punchy chais, which I think yours is punchy, right?
Mine is a little bit more of a very forward tasting chai. I think there's black pepper in it, and when there's a good amount of black pepper in it, it can really can I try your tea?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to
I'm
try
gonna
mine?
try yours.
Okay, we'll swap.
This is gonna smack me in the face, right?
I mean, I did put a little sweetener in it to lessen the blow, but
So yours is actually less punchy than mine, simply because of the maple syrup that you added.
oh, but the flavors, sticking to the flavors.
There's black pepper in there, for sure.
Yours is more of a balanced chai, and mine is a little bit more of just a pointed flavor as opposed to a round flavor, which I like. I like it.
Mine is balanced, and yours is falling off the wire.
Man on wire. All right, so since it's the second episode, we're going to get to our self-care social experiments that we've been doing for ourselves with an update from last week.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about last week how you have been taking time to yourself in the morning for about an hour to read, etc., before you pick up any technology. How's that been going?
Well, this week's been a little crazy.
I'll get to that on my
So,
update.
to be perfectly honest, I haven't had that time for myself a bunch this week, but I have taken inspiration from your thing. I've been trying to not keep my phone so close to me in the bedroom and to make that space more of a space away from technology, and that's, I feel like, been really beneficial.
Aww.
So thanks for that.
Oh, you're welcome. And yeah, so mine from last week was not using my phone in the bedroom, not even having it plugged in the bedroom, so that it was a technology-free zone. That has also changed a little bit this week. I do now have to plug my phone in by my bedside table. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I have resisted the urge to actually use it before I'm trying to go to bed. So once it's plugged in, it is just plugged in and that's it. And I have to tell you, the temptation was so freaking strong. The first few nights, I could literally feel my body almost had to keep my hand from going out and just grabbing it, trying to set alarms on an alarm clock instead of on my phone, because that's just the gateway into the rest of the internet. So it's been going well.
Good. You did it, even though it was accessible.
Yeah.
You did your thing.
Which is, I think, harder. So...
Yeah.
Well, what have you done this week? What is your self-care social experiment?
Something I've thought about a lot over the last not being in school years is that I find myself not looking forward to as many things as I used to, and that sounds really depressing, but I've been just trying to anticipate the future with more excitement. And one of the things that's actually been helping me do that this past week is this podcast. I've been getting excited about doing this and thinking about what I want to talk about and how I want to make myself feel better in general, and that's been really nice to look forward to.
I think that's so awesome, Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm kind of hoping this podcast can be that little breath of fresh air you look forward to every week as well. I think that's really, really wonderful because, expectation, choosing to change your mindset to look forward to things instead of dreading things, et cetera, et cetera. That's really awesome because you have control over that.
That's the whole foundation of a positive outlook, isn't it?
I guess so. They've done science and stuff, mindfulness and meditation can literally rewire the way your brain works.
And what about you? What have you been trying this week?
So, this week was a little bit of a whirlwind in our household. I had surgery this week, and it's a very long, very painful recovery process, like 4 to 6 months. I had surgery on my ankle, so it is really limiting the way I can move, obviously, the way I can sleep, the way I have to be positioned. If you are watching on YouTube, you can't see, but under the table I have stacks of floofy pillows and everything to hold my leg like outright so that it doesn't hurt too much.
We got you all set up.
Yeah.
All the pillows.
Yeah, so I mean, that's not just extra stress and change on my life, but yours as well, because if I need anything, getting up off the couch is kind of an ordeal. So this week has really been an experiment in self-care. I would say self-care in patience specifically. I'm going to be sitting on my butt for a long time.
Yes.
Right?
Doctor's orders.
I know. And naturally, I'm extremely type A. I've always been like, top grades, top this, top that, top the other thing, just because I'm a go-getter. Tenacity is what I believe they call it. I have an abundance of that, for better or for worse. So in situations where I am forced to be a couch potato, it hasn't been as much of a challenge as I thought it was going to be, because even before I went into it, I guess this also has to do with positive mindset. So that also ties into yours. We don't really talk about these also before the show, so...
We don't, but we do live in the same household, so those things probably influence.
Yeah, but I went into this knowing, you know what? You're going to be stuck on the couch for quite a while. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be able to set up for filming or a podcast by yourself. It's okay to not be able to shower without aid or eat food or anything like that. So if there's anyone else out there that is ill or forced to be a couch potato when they don't want to be, I'm here for you. And I feel it too, but I've also decided to surround myself with positive things like this podcast, like Tea Time with Mary, to keep my brain focused on the good stuff, and also to give myself something that I consider worthwhile and creatively fulfilling to do.
That's great to have braced for it with positivity.
Oh, shoot.
Ooh.
I'm going to take another sip of that chai because you said that.
Get that chai.
We'll have to check in next week and let you know how those are going for us, because I will definitely still be stuck on the couch until mid next year. So next, I think it's time for good news from the community.
Community news.
Yay, community news. I don't know if that's the official name.
Is that the name?
But
let us know at PositiviTeaPodcast, T like TEA, @gmail.com, if you like that name.
Yeah, I don't know. We still haven't picked one, so we need help. We're very punny people. I was debating, since, our podcast was a little shorter than we were aiming for last week, should I do more than one piece of community good news?
Well, if we have more than one piece of community good news.
I have quite a few. How about I read 3? How about I read 3? Let's do this.
3 is a magic number.
All right, so we're going to hop around social platforms. The first 2 are going to be from my Twitter account at Miss Mary Lou, LU with the underscores, because there's another Miss Mary Lou out there who got to it before I did. All right, so this is from Rachel Pierce at the Junie Bird. So I sent out a tweet asking people for something good that happened to them this week across all my social media platforms. And Rachel said she was in a rock climbing competition on Saturday,
Ooh.
which is so exciting. She's super excited about climbing, and I think that's awesome. She said she was also in a fashion show, which I remember she talked to me about that. Rachel is a friend of mine. She was very excited. She got to get all dolled up and strut down the runway, but she did a freaking rock climbing competition. Who does that? That's so cool.
Honestly, I didn't know even that was a thing that
Me
happened,
neither.
but
Obviously.
it sounds really cool.
Yeah. Rachel, you're a wizard. Thank you for being freaking awesome, and thank you for sharing it with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for climbing those rocks.
Climbing those rocks, killing it. Next on Twitter, we have Jordan at Jordan Orr. And he said he got a fantastic new job that he thinks will turn into a career.
Woo!
I know, it's stress-free, fun, and pays great. And then he asked me good stuff happening with me because he is a courteous gentleman. So, Jordan, that's amazing.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Having as much good stuff in your life as you can is really great. And if you can get that as your way of making money to survive in this capitalist society, hey, was that too in-depth?
That's what we're all doing, right?
I think that's amazing. I always just get so thrilled for people when they are able to combine what they love with how they make money.
Yeah, that's the dream, and
That's literally the dream.
We're so happy that you did that. So yay!
Yes,
Yay!
Yes. Alrighty, so then we're gonna hop over to Instagram, where I reached out on my Instagram stories, same handle as on Twitter. And this is from Katie Prentice. She said, I feel like I'm getting better at my course, 3D animation, even if it's physically and mentally hard. Ooh,
Yeah.
3D animation. You go, queen. Yes,
All
I
the
can
fun
imagine the amount of focus and information and also like raw artistic talent it takes to really be able to do 3D animation. Not to mention, you create the emotion and the lives of the characters and everything. I just think it's an incredible art form. So, yeah, that's a lot, but, like, you're killing it. I think that's amazing.
That's always cool, too, to see when you start developing a skill that you found to be difficult, that you think is difficult, then see that yourself doing that, too. Like, that's always really fun and cool. Right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. So good for you, Katie.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I think that's amazing. Congratulations to everybody that we talked about today. And I'm so glad y'all had good stuff happen this week.
Yay, good community news.
Of course, send us your good things. Keep an eye out on my socials, or you can always just send it to me even when I don't ask for it, because these are like little nuggets that I get now during the week where I'm just like, ooh.
Good news, everyone. I have good news.
It's good news. Before we launch into today's article, just as a heads up, there is brief mention of self-harm. So if you are not comfortable with that and it makes you not want to listen to this segment, just skip ahead like a minute and a half, and we will move on from there. So I really just want to let you know ahead of time. So Jacob, what do you have for us today?
Although I promise it is good news. So from a radio station in Los Angeles, KOST 103.5. It's about a guy in Ontario. His name is Glenn Oliver. And every morning, or most mornings, he goes through a drive-thru at Tim Hortons to get his morning coffee. Tim Hortons is kind of like a Canadian Dunkin' Donuts.
Yum. I used to work at a Tim Hortons in college, actually.
Fun fact.
So, yeah, we grew up pretty close to Ontario, Canada, like close to the border. So, Tim Hortons hold a special place in our hearts.
Well, this guy likes to pay for the car behind him every morning. In the drive-thru, he likes to offer just whatever they get.
Coffee and a muffin.
Pick up the tab. Yeah, coffee and a muffin. Well, one day, the car behind him, the guy in that car was planning on going home after getting that Tim Hortons and ending his life. He was pretty set on doing that. And just this simple act of kindness of just some stranger paying for his coffee and muffin turned that around for him. And he kind of, went home and was thinking like, why me? Like, where did this random act of kindness come from? And it really struck him as maybe I can put good things out in the world myself. Maybe I can, go help strangers as well. And it basically saved him. So
yeah, and
it was really sweet to hear.
Yeah, I got all warm and fuzzy. And also Tim Hortons,
And also Tim
and
Hortons.
also Tim Hortons. And it wasn't until about a year later, of course, the guy that goes, what is his name, Glenn?
Yes.
Yeah, that goes to pay for the coffee behind him every day. He had no idea any of this occurred at all. And it wasn't until a year later where the person who received the free coffee put out a letter in a newspaper to Glenn, although he didn't know who it was just the man in the SUV, about it and how much of an impact just this random act of kindness had on his life. Even way after the fact, and when Glenn learned about this, how he literally turned someone's life around.
And it didn't, cost him hardly anything. He does this just, as a really random act of kindness, and you never know where it can affect.
I'm gonna cry. This is like such a good story. It's Canadian, and it's Tim Hortons, and it's changing someone's life. It's just, oh gosh, it's so good. It's so good.
Good news.
Yeah, it's really, really good news.
Yeah.
And I mean, I actually, this kind of brings it up. I can't really afford at this point in my life to pay it forward all the time with literally buying things. But I like to think that I like to live as, paying it forward and scattering positivity. Wow, this podcast is so on the nose. Even if it's something like, if I'm at work, I'm going to clean up so that the next person that comes in is going to be able to do their job effectively. Or I know that the person at Trader Joe's that I'm checking out with has probably had a really long day, or Target, or wherever. And I can just be like, hey, how are you? I hope that you're off soon and that you have a great day. And I'm going to be really nice to you because I know that you have to deal with people who are pretty awful. So hopefully me taking the 2 seconds out of my day to say to you, I think you're great and I understand, will hopefully rub off on them so that they maybe have a better day.
Yeah. Park considerately, or like let someone into the lane when they're trying to get in. Little things that you don't have to necessarily be nice things, but just like things that you could consider other people. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Easy things you can do to
easy things, even if it's not literally buying someone something or a cup of coffee or whatever. But, you don't know what's going on in people's lives. They could be having the worst time. I'm sure the cashier at the Tim Hortons drive-thru had no idea that this guy was in the lowest of his low when he went to go pick up his free coffee and muffin that day.
They could be having the best time too, but it doesn't hurt. It never hurts.
Yeah.
To do nice things.
Oh, and a special shout out. We have someone helping us with sound as well as video today. Liz Church-Peters, who is a post-production wizard, audio nerd, and also my future sister-in-law. So, all winning there. Liz is super wonderful. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Liz.
Yes. Also, when you mentioned parking within the lines, she literally threw up her hands and did it yes.
It's not hard, dude. It's so nice. It's so easy to be that nice.
Yeah. It is. But I feel like this might be bringing me down a little bit, thinking about the frustration of parking. Parking makes me socially anxious. Fun fact, I have pretty bad social anxiety and panic attack disorder, and parking is one of those things that just sets me off.
Okay. I will try not to mention parking.
I mean,
any
it's
further
okay.
in this episode.
It's okay. So how can we turn this around? Real life example, right meow. Not planned at all. So maybe the good feeling, even if you're in a Trader Joe's parking lot at 5 p.m., which for those of you that don't know,
bad time to do that.
Trader Joe's parking lots tend to be particularly difficult to navigate, and especially when it's busy. But there are some days where everyone's nice, everyone waits their turn, and you pull in, and those are the freaking best days.
Yeah. Even when people are being mean in the car or in traffic in general, I feel better. I come away from it feeling better if I am kind anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't help to have a fight with a stranger over the fact that you're both driving,
Right.
That doesn't help anyone.
I really try to keep in mind while on the road that it's easy to get mad at a car because it's not a living thing, but I try to think of cars as humans, and that makes it a lot easier And, you know, if someone cuts me off, I'm like, maybe their significant other is about to have a baby at the hospital. Maybe that's like why they're driving like a crazy person. Or maybe their dog ran away today. I don't know.
I like the idea that everybody who's ever cut me off has been racing to get to the birth of their child. Like, that's been the only reason that anyone's ever been mean while driving around me.
That's a much more positive way of looking at it than to
right.
flip someone the bird while driving, which people do, especially in Los Angeles.
It's not satisfying either, right?
No.
It doesn't. It definitely, obviously, doesn't help.
It makes me really sad when people do it to me.
Satisfying.
Also.
Has no positive benefits. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't bully people on the road. It's not a good idea because everyone, if you think about it, is in an extremely vulnerable position.
Mm-hmm.
They're safe, but stuff can still happen, and everyone has to be engaged with what they're doing all the time in order to make sure you get from point A to point B safely. So, if you kind of think about it, driving is people in a pretty vulnerable state, just trying to get to where they're going. Whoa, this got deep.
Didn't mean to go on a traffic endeavor there.
Yeah, no, but like, hey, positivity.
Yeah.
It's relevant everywhere. Again, thank you so much for listening. And Jacob, do you have a positive quote that you picked for this week to close us out?
To sign us off? Yeah, I do. And I think this kind of fits with a lot of what we were talking about earlier with mindfulness and with looking forward to things. So I'll leave you with a quote from Lyndon B. Johnson. Yesterday is not ours to recover, but tomorrow is ours to win or lose.
We hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week on the PositiviTea podcast. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Mary Lou, at PositiviTea, TEA podcast at gmail.com. And we are also on YouTube at the Miss Mary Lou YouTube channel. Wherever you are listening to us, please give us a like, a follow, a share, and leave a nice review. We would appreciate a little bit of positivity in our lives. The logo design is by Hilda Meyer Post. The music is by my co-host, Jacob Kahn. I am your co-host, Miss Mary Lou Ryan, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you on Thursday.